for your mics to turn right up for the people at the back. Tonight's episode is going to be crazy, talking about some political correctness right now. Get ready for this. Welcome everyone everywhere to the Elite Thinking Club. I'm Jules, Julien. Political correctness. Tonight, we're going to be talking about political correctness. I'm here with my co-hosts, Michael and Liz. Guys, you all right?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're good.
you?
Love that. So, last episode, before we go any further, we was talking about Liz. What were we talking about last episode? I fucking forgot. What was we talking about last episode, Michael? Oh,
We,
elite people.
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
Illuminati,
Illuminati.
Freemasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the Illuminati, Freemasons, and the ruling elites of this world. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, then definitely check that episode out after this one. But tonight, we're going to be talking about political correctness and has it gone too far? Are we at a place now where we are silenced? We can't speak freely. We have something to say and we can't say it because we feel like it's going to offend someone. Or has it been such a struggle to get to this point that it's actually a good thing? Who knows? We're going to debate it tonight. But before we do, just want to highlight, you can't change anything unless you're willing to understand it. And you can't understand it unless you're willing to explore it. Yeah, good debates don't get ugly. We're going to talk about things that may make people feel vulnerable. Beliefs held sacred may be challenged because of life experiences, but we're not trying to make people wrong or to incite riot, but just simply explore. So welcome to the Elite Thinking Club, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're here as well. Wow. Okay, so last episode we was talking about Illuminati and ruling elites and how we could be ruled by some secret societies and all that shit. And like I said, if you want to watch that episode, go ahead and watch that. But tonight, it brought us onto this where you can't say certain things anymore that you used to be able to get away with. And what are we referring to right now? It's political correctness. I remember growing up watching certain sitcoms. One of my favorites was Ali G. Ali G was a white comedian who posed as a black guy and used to even say things like, is it because I is black? You can't say that now because someone somewhere is going to get so pissed off, they're going to write into BBC or Channel 4 or whoever and say, I can't believe you've got a white guy posing as a black guy saying shit like that. Now, I also remember in the day when Yorkie, the chocolate bar, used to have as their slogan, it's not for girls. Shit was funny because it was just funny. I just didn't get offended. No one
Can you
got upset.
imagine
No
if
one
they did
cried
that
about it.
now?
Yeah, no one cried about it. It was a chocolate bar that was just for men. And we loved that shit. No one said nothing. No one got upset, you know? And now we're in a state where they've had to take that down. Michael, remember when we was in the army and in the ration packs, we had Yorkie bars and it said, not for civvies.
Yeah.
It said on the bars, it said on the chocolate bars, not for civvies. And for all my other veterans and soldiers out there that used to remember those days when we in our ration packs we got little Yorkie bars, we don't have those anymore. It's now, I think it's Oreo that the army have done contracts with. But anyway, upset about that shit. This day and age, you can't have a chocolate bar just for blokes. This day and age, you can't have I don't know, a certain club for certain people. Or can you? Or can you? Is it now a case of no?
Women.
Right. And we're going to get into this right now. So welcome everyone everywhere. Quick shout out to some of the comments. Meg, I see you. And also Millie, I see you as well. Shout out. If you're watching us on the Instagram as well, big up yourself.
Gracie and Lola on Instagram as well.
Gracie, I see you. Love that. On the Instagram. And got anyone on YouTube, Michael? Where's Zach? Jules, when are you back at Brentwood?
He's not here yet, but we are actually on Twitch now as well.
Oh my lord! So we're on Instagram, Twitch, hello Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok as well. So if you want to watch all three of us, myself, Michael, and Liz, head over to the YouTube now because you'll see us all on screen. But whatever platform you're watching us on, you're welcome. And also, we welcome the comments as well. Jack, when am I back in Brentwood? I don't know, bro. I don't know when I'm back in Brentwood. It's one of those ones. It'll be one of those ones. Just keep your eyes and ears open. If you hear I'm around, come say hello. You know how it is, right? Political correctness. Okay. I don't even want to say this, that I was where I was the other day. So I was somewhere the other day and the conversation went to a guy that said, why can't I say the N-word? Me and Michael have had this conversation and I don't mind if Michael says the N-word. I don't mind if anyone says the N-word. And what word am I referring to? Nutella? No, I'm not talking about Nutella. I'm talking about the word nigger. If you don't like that word, then you don't like that word. Now, I personally don't mind hearing certain music with that word being said. In actual fact, I think it complements the music. In actual fact, I think it gives it a little bit more of that edge that I like about that music. Now, if someone was to use that word offensively towards me, like trying to make me feel shit because, like, you know what I'm saying, like the way it was originally used, then I suppose I would get a little bit upset about it. But if it ain't coming at me like that, I don't feel any reason to get upset. You know what I'm saying? And another
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
imagine I didn't even speak English. Imagine I spoke flipping, I don't know, Thai or Chinese, and I didn't even know what that word was. It was just a sound to me. Would I be offended? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. So
And
in
it all
regards
depends
to
on
words,
content as well.
I think in today's
right?
society, pretty much anything and everything offends people, doesn't it? Or
Yeah.
offends a certain
Democrat.
criteria of
Yeah, all the
people. You know,
snowflakes.
it's crazy. It's like everything, like you say something, it's someone's going to be upset about it, even though you didn't, that wasn't your intention, was to upset. You were just saying something, saying a word, or saying your feeling towards something or your opinion on something, and it's like, oh, you can't say that, I'm offended.
Right. Right. Shout out to Christy. Shout out to is it Diadam? I see you, and Amesta. She's back. I love that. Back from last episode. Good to see her. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
so true as well. Snowflake syndrome. That's exactly what it is.
It
Yeah,
is
and
it well.
it worries me for the next generation, because I just think, like, how can you go out into the world and cope with the world if someone's saying something in a cafe or someone's saying something at a dinner party is going to offend you because they've said a word you don't like? There's lots of words I don't like, but I don't complain about it.
Right. So some of the categories that are the most like targeted for this political correctness shit is definitely gender,
Yeah.
race, and sexual orientation. There are, you know, I don't know how to explain this. Communities, there are communities of people that really get their back up about the flag they're waving. Now,
Mm.
it isn't that we care, it isn't that we don't care, but it's just like, why care? Like, okay,
I never
do we
realized there
live,
were so many flags in the world.
right? Do we live in a time, a day and age where you truly believe that you are under because of a certain thing now? Like, I'm at a point now where I start to get a little bit upset where someone will want there to be a problem. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I
It's like
can't.
they're not happy unless they have something to complain about.
Right, like I don't look. Okay, so from Meggie, yeah, like they don't allow you to sing "Bar Bar Black Sheep" anymore,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Yeah,
And
then you have
because
to
of
say
different
ethnic sheep now.
religions and diversity in schools, they don't
oh,
do,
religion, yeah, sorry, forgot.
some schools don't do the traditional nativity because of them being a diverse school. They don't do the nativity in the some of the UK schools because some other people who attend the schools are from different religions. But surely diversity is about showing all. So it's hypocritical. It's contradictory, because it's like, we better not do the nativity just in case it offends others who come to the school who have a different religion. But we're a diverse school and we want to show all
Yeah, and
religions.
by not
But,
doing it, it then
so,
offends the
but by not
people
doing it,
that.
you're not showing the tradition in this. So it's like, have we come to that point where it's like, it doesn't even make sense when they're trying to make it make sense and they're trying to do the right thing because of the whole political correctness, but actually they're not doing the right thing. They're hiding away things and they're going against what they're actually trying to push.
Yeah, like I'm gonna cover us right now and just say in essence, yeah, that if we get it wrong, we're okay with that. Here at the Elite
Mhm.
Thinking Club, we ain't about right or wrong. We're about what's appropriate and
No.
what's not. And right now, we're finding that, like in today's current climate and this time we're living, political correctness, I feel like it's gone a little bit too far. But I also feel like, has it just created its own problem? Because someone highlighted something, has it just stemmed a flipping tidal wave of just confusion? It never was a problem before, so how is it a problem now? Like, why has it become a problem now? Why is
Mm.
it like, I don't have anything negative to say about certain certain communities that I feel like are really, really negative toward it. Like they feel like they're offended in some way. So my friend, he called me earlier today and said, "Yo, what's tonight's show about?" I said, "Oh, we're going to be talking about political correctness." He said that his missus in her workplace said something so innocent, like, "All right, guys, we're going to have a team meeting in 30 minutes. Can everyone be available?" And she got picked up because she said the word guys. Like, you can't say that no more because not everyone identifies as guys. And
Oh
the
my
reality
goodness.
was, she didn't even mean that when she said that. She didn't even mean guys as in like you're all blokes. You
Yeah.
all have to be at the meeting in 30 minutes. She meant it like as in general, like
Yeah, just
how
a
people
term of
say it.
phrase.
Right, guys, we've got And he said, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's episode." And I was like, "Bro, I got a feeling that a lot of I don't know where it's gonna go. I definitely want to know what you want to say or have to say, and I definitely want to know what you have to say. Put it in the comments, and yeah, want to know what you guys have to say."
And hello to new Twitch.
Right. I was watching doing a bit of research. I was liking this guy, Jordan Peterson. This guy is like a professor. He does a lot of
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
definitely he stands up for what he believes in, and he articulates very well
Yes,
in
he
what he
does.
has to say. So I tip my hat to the guy. I think the guy's great, and he's one of those people that we definitely need to acknowledge, like as one of the people who can kind of set it right. Now, that's not to say he's always right, but I just think sometimes a lot of us have he articulates what we think. Do you get what I mean? Very quickly
Yeah.
and very easily to understand. One of the things that he mentioned was moral superiority. He said that he finds these communities to be fighting to be on top. They find a problem with a system, and the system, they believe, puts them under. So they'll fight and fight and fight because it isn't because of what they believe in is being treated badly. It's just that the fact that they're not on top. If they were on top, they'd be happy. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I get what you're saying. Like these feminists, for example, or it could be trans community, for example. Fuck it, it could be Black Lives Matter, for example. If you are under, you're not happy. But only not because of what you're believing in, but because you're just not on top. If you were on top, would you still be raving? Would you still be carrying on the way you do? You know what I mean? And it's moral superiority. And he said that. And I was like, maybe you got a point there, Jordan. I want to know what you guys think about that.
I think yeah, I think he's right. It's like there's some deep-rooted need for them to be noticed and heard, and I just think it's just coming from all angles, from everywhere. It's like it started with a couple of things you couldn't say and a couple of people you couldn't offend within society, and then it just feels like you've literally got to watch your words on everything.
Yeah. When I was a doorman,
That's how it's
we had
blowing up. You know,
we
what you
had
put on social media.
a female come to the door with a passport. She looked like a guy, but she didn't look like the passport. So we were saying that she couldn't come in because she didn't look like the passport. And then, of course, we was against her. All this like massive arguments that we was against her because she's now a guy and we're transphobic and all this other stuff. It's just like no,
Because you said no.
Right, that's my point. I'm gonna ask the audience on this one. Yeah, even if you are homophobic or transphobic, do you have a right to be so? You don't have to like a fact that someone is a something. Fuck. Like, look.
I don't like
get
cheese.
upset?
Does that make me cheese phobic? There's loads of people who love cheese. So am I now like cast aside in society?
Right. Now, it isn't that, there is such a stigma that surrounds you can't be against someone. You can't. We live in a world now where it is offensive for you to be against someone. Well, you shouldn't feel that way.
No.
You shouldn't. I'm not here to bother you. You want to be what you want to be it. Like I ain't got a problem with you being what you are, but don't be upset that I don't like it.
But
Do you understand?
it's important that we have differing opinions as well, because if you like something or if you have a different opinion on something, we're not going to learn. We're not going to learn as a society.
No.
And just because if I don't like something that you like, Michael or Jules, that doesn't mean then you don't like me.
Well, I don't know the cheese thing.
And
Is quite a
that's
big
what
one.
it comes. That's what it comes down to. Like we have when we chat on here, and we have debates. Like you know, sometimes Jules is like nah, and I'm like yeah. Michael's like what, and you know, but we're still here every week and we show up. We're not like coming off air and then going, I'm never talking to you again because you disagreed with me or because you said a word I didn't like. It doesn't work like that. That's not communication. That's not like being free speech and being who we are. We all are entitled to liking things, having an opinion, saying no, whatever. Like it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you have to be cast as this like aggressor that is suppressing somebody because their opinion is different.
Another thing about it as well is like they talk about this woke culture that most people are just awakening to, this idea that you are not educated enough on the system that you live in. You don't understand the bigger pieces, the bigger play. You know, you're so ignorant in your existence. And it really does come from like in my opinion, a negative sanctimonious place. Like you aren't born that way. You have to go through a path that teaches you things. And once you learn those things, you know, that's how you grow. It isn't someone's fault that they were born later than you. And you know what I mean? They don't know that yet. And it's like, let them grow, let them be, and let them experience it. And then once they know what they're talking about, then you might be able to meet them. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's there's this stigma around this woke like society that if you don't know it, you're stupid, or if you don't know it, you should by now, or you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we got to try and crush that. That's a real bad stigma. We got to try and crush. But yeah, I agree with you, Liz. Everyone should have their rights to speak what they want and not be crucified for it. I'll tell you something. I remember a time when someone posted something on their tweets, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, or they said something in one of their acts, like a comedian said something like 10 years ago. And back to my reference at the start of the episode to Ali G, years ago, about 15 years ago. You can't now be made to make a public apology or forced to apologize for something you said back then.
Kevin Hart.
I'm not talking about Kevin Hart. I'm talking about like in general. Like, he ain't the only one. This has happened to a lot of people, no doubt. And like, for example, we're doing this episode tonight, right, on our channel. And if you haven't done so already, guys, head over to our YouTube, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a show. We appreciate that. We love you for that. But yeah, if we said something tonight on this episode and someone's going to pick me up for it in 10 years' time, I'm not apologizing. I'm not.
I don't like cheese.
So a good example.
And if I get hated for saying I don't like cheese, that's fine. That's fine.
A good example of it is that Kevin Hart tweeted something 10 years ago. He said, I don't want my son turning out gay. And then he got a bit of a backlash for it. Well, he got a bit of a backlash for it at the time. And he deleted it and said, look, I'm sorry. He apologized there and then. He said, I'm sorry. Then he got to do the Oscars, which was his dream. And then somebody had a screenshot of it and brought it out, and then they told him he had to apologize again. And he was like, how many times do I have to apologize for this tweet? It was a joke. Yes, it might have been in poor judgment, but it was a joke. I've said sorry. We need to get over it.
Yeah, you can't keep apologizing. Otherwise, well, one apology should be enough. If you didn't accept my first apology, why won't you? You might not even accept my second.
Yeah. Do
you get what I mean? And then my third, and then my fourth, and then whatnot. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is as well, that is Kevin Hart's son. He made that kid. He has the right to say what he fucking wants about that kid. I don't believe for one second, that anyone who brings a child into this world doesn't have the right to say what they want for that child. It's your child. You made it. You know what I mean? It's yours. That's your creation. No one else's.
Yeah,
that's like me owning a car and I want to spray it green and red. Like I want to spray it green and red. No one can tell me I can't do that. That's my fucking car. Like I own that. Do you get me? Did you get what I'm saying? I just want to throw my opinion out there. Opinions ain't facts.
Between a car and a kid, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah. Shout outs to Maggie on the comments though. She did say something like 2 people can look at the exact same thing and see something totally different. Absolutely. And I believe in that too.
Absolutely. And that is how the world should be, though. We shouldn't all be looking at things and seeing the same, because that's how we learn.
And Blue Star said as well, if you draw the number 6 on the floor and you're standing on one side of it and I'm standing on the other side of it, I will see a 6 and they will see a 9. And that is, again, like this
I was
political
literally
correctness
doing
thing.
that there. Look.
Some people, what is that, a G and a G? Some people will get really, really like upset about something that some people just won't. It just didn't really occur to them that that was something to get upset about. Like, how is that you know, okay, so here's one thing, right? I'll tell you something. Before obviously lockdowns and COVID, I went through my whole activist stage. I still am activist in a way. I do my bit, but I went through the whole like proper riots thing. So I went for a animal rights march back in London, back in, I think it was 2019 or something. And it was because obviously at the time I was just going through my vegan journey. I was going through that place. And I believe every vegan at some point who transforms to full veganism, they will go through a phase, and part of that phase is telling the world. You want to tell the world because you found something that has changed your life. So I was going through this phase, and I remember I was marching, and it was during the march when I actually found some vegans I don't like. Now hear this, I am on the same, I'm walking the same march as them, fighting for the same thing, and I don't like them. They started saying some things and started calling people out, and they were doing it wrong. I thought, hold on a minute, was you born vegan? Like, hold on a minute, was you not them once? Do you know what I mean? Like, cast the first stone in essence. Like, how can you be so, like, back to what I said at the start, morally superior now or sanctimonious now? Like, they were saying to people that were eating in the restaurants as we were marching past, shame on you, shame on you. I was like, are you an idiot? Like, you do realize we're trying to recruit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want people on our side, and what you are doing is creating enemies.
Well, if you vilify in your message, if you're vilifying within your message, it's not going to work, really, is it? I've been on protests, on human rights protests, and you know, the lockdown protests and stuff, and I can agree with you on that, Jules, where there have been people there that have been, you know, ranting, and yes, they're passionate, but they've been saying things the wrong way. And I've been like, I don't agree with your stance on that. And I actually don't think you should be saying what you're saying about certain people, you know, because we're marching for everyone here, not just us or just a certain people. You know, you can't just cast aside people. So yeah, I thought we were all marching for the same thing, but actually, you know, we had different stances and different opinions on stuff. So
it's a tough one, because like, obviously I only spoke about like in a community, whereas there are loads of communities out there, and there are some who actually,
before you go away from vegans, how do you know that someone's a vegan?
Don't worry, they'll tell you. Yeah, Michael, it's
they'll tell you 100 times.
Yeah, we will tell you, Michael. I tell you something. Yeah, like, I swear to God, I meet some people now, and they say like, "How old are you?" I say, "I'm 33 years old." They say, "How do you look so young?" And they don't want to hear when I have to tell them the truth. When I tell them the truth, and I say, "Well, it's my diet. I've fixed it. I found the fountain of youth. What more do you want? What more proof do you want?" And then, like, for my physique, my strength to weight ratio in the gym, blokes approach me. Girls looking at me, marveled. They're like, how the fuck is he doing that? And I'm telling you, like, what? The world's strongest animals on this planet are plant-based. Make no mistake. Your rhinos, your elephants, your gorillas, make no mistake. And just do the logic. Anyway, like I said, at part of this episode, like, I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going to be that person, because we're all at different stages and we're all at different places. And no doubt there's probably someone far superior to me hearing me speak, thinking, young man, the fuck are you talking about? And I'm going to look back. I'm just going to say to them, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm not apologizing. Fuck off. 10 years time. Not doing it. Right. So I was driving today, and I had it on the radio. I was listening to someone else talk, and this guy is called Douglas Murray. He has wrote a book called The Madness of Crowds. And what he goes in to talk about is pretty much what we're talking about now, how there are tripwires and like minefields that you have to step very carefully just to get by now. You got to be careful about what you say. And a lot of people are now silenced because of it. They're afraid to speak up. They don't want to get themselves in a position where they are
liable.
Like, yeah, like they will be publicly made an example of,
and
right.
Yes. It's quite sad, isn't it? Because I think it takes away authenticity. of what people are about and what people want to say. It takes it away. It's like, oh, I'm only going to say this because that's what's allowed. It's like, say what you want to say what's really funny. Like comedians, we've had this conversation on one of our chats before, podcasts before, where like comedy, it was evolving when we were growing up and watching it, and there was some really outrageous stuff that we would watch that was funny, really funny. And now, and that's the whole point of comedy. And now it's like, you've got to be careful. Oh, he shouldn't have said that. He's now on the front page of the newspaper because he said this. And I'm like, really? That's why I love people that like Ricky Gervais. They would just say it.
Now, don't get me wrong. Looking back at some of old school stuff, like I will even defend, I'll defend all, because I'm one of them. I'm that type of person. But I don't mind sometimes admitting that I was laughing at some things that could be quite wrong. So I remember Dave Chappelle. His comedy has changed over time because the audience has changed over time. Back then, he was saying some real racist stuff that we found funny. But if I was on the receiving end of that, I'd be well upset. I'd be fuming. I'd be like, why is the joke always on us? But I'm not. No one alive today is responsible for what happened way back then. No one. However, people are still being called up on it now. Like, it's because you're white that we're in this position. Well, it ain't their fault. You're white, yeah, but you weren't back then white. Do you get what I'm saying? But anyway, his comedy has definitely evolved with the time. So what does that mean? Basically, as time does change, so does people's ways of navigating what to say. You get me? What they can and can't say, what they can get away with, what they can't get away with. Now, though, we're at a place where people are afraid to say.
Yeah.
You are like silenced. You can't say that.
And
or you're not allowed to
quite
say
damaging for society and for us. As
it's
human
very
beings,
damaging,
it's
not
damaging.
quite. It's very damaging. If everyone has to watch what they say all the time, we are not going to get
Think about how that will actually affect people mentally, not really getting out what they want to say.
Yeah.
How can you strive for identity? Like, how do you... We've had this conversation before. Remember about how you identify. Like, I identify as fit as fuck. If you don't call me fit as fuck, right, I'm going to get upset. I'm going to get offended. And then you and me are going to not be friends anymore. Like, you have to address me as I want to be addressed. So I'm fit as fuck, and you have to say that now. All right? All right? So you know that. Now you know.
I'm still going to call you Jules. Sorry to disappoint.
But it is one of them ones. Like, if someone wants to identify as a zebra, we have to call them that. Otherwise, they're going to get upset because we're not identifying them as what they want to be identified as. So back to what my friend said when he said that his missus said, right, guys, we've got a meeting in 30 minutes. She can't say that now. She's not allowed to say that because someone somewhere might be offended that they were called a guy. And it's just
so what did she say then? We've got a meeting, people.
I didn't even ask him. Yeah, we've got a meeting in 30 minutes.
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens.
Yeah. And then someone's going to get confused and go, oh, they called us homos.
Oh, yeah. See?
Oh, yeah, team. Amistar just said, you have to say, right, let's go, team. Shout out to Blue Star as well. She sent me a hammer on TikTok. I love
What
that.
if you don't feel part of the team?
Let's go.
What if you don't feel part of it?
Well, I guess, Michael, some people just want to see the world burn.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like when you're happy, you get the endorphins. When you watch a horror, you get other ones. I think when you get offended, there's some sort of endorphins that people get. Like when people get angry, people just like being angry and fucking upset. So they're looking for the next. It's like
that thing with children, isn't it? Any attention is attention, whether it's negative or positive.
Wow. Well said, Liz. Yeah, it's true. It is so
and
true.
I think with everything that's gone on in history, like all the stuff that's like the bad stuff that's gone on, it's really good that when we got to a place in society where, people were aware of equality and things that did happen in history that was wrong. But I feel like now we're at a really damaging and dangerous era in society where this could go to a point where we're actually unknowingly suppressing our free speech and being able to talk and communicate and say things, not saying, oh, let's go, guys. I mean, how is that offensive? But that somebody in the room, how have we got to this point in society where someone in the room has been conditioned to believe that because somebody else, guys, they should be hurt by that and offended by that and take their time to, or people having free speech, but it's getting to a point where it's like, really, like, do you really think that that person meant to offend you when they just stood in a room and said, right, come on then, guys, let's go? There was not, was
and
there real
there's
malice intent, you know?
exactly, and that's the intent and the impact. Like, I had this conversation time ago about someone like intent and impact. What you said, this is what your intention was, but the impact it had, that's what the that's what it had. But it's really, really quite upsetting to feel that someone somewhere got upset by that. Like, in actual fact, how did it upset you? What tell me where that came from in the core of your body. What got you upset about that? Now, if it's because you felt like you were called a guy when you're not a guy, can you not just let that go? Because they didn't mean it like that.
Just a saying that has been used for years and years and years, which wasn't meant for offense to anybody. But how do you think we're going to move forward? How do you think we will actually need political correctness going on around us for the next generation?
Well, this is if that's a question directed at me, Liz, I will actually answer that. The first thing you want to do is like and subscribe our YouTube channel. That's the first thing you want to do, because if you are watching right now and you've watched so far and you ain't hit the like button or the subscribe button, you bloody get over to YouTube right now and you hit that like and subscribe button, because we're trying to grow our channel. And you can't have these conversations with people unless you're open, wanting to have the conversation. So that's where we're having these conversations. So be part of it and join our Discord, join our Twitch. You can go over to Instagram now, Elite Thinking Club. Go see Liz. She's on there. And that's the first thing you can do. And the second thing you can do is have more of these conversations with people around you. Granted, not everyone is ready to hear what you have to say, but never underestimate the power of planting a seed. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Just drop it in there. Just be at the dinner table and be like, yeah, so political correctness has gone a bit far, isn't it? Great salad, mum. And then or just like crack on with the macaroni and cheese. Great macaroni and cheese, Mrs. O'Neill. Yeah, I love that. What did he just say? I said great macaroni and cheese. No, about political correctness. Oh, it's gone a bit far, isn't it? Don't you think? And then just crack on with the food.
No, I learned something when I was about. I learned a quote when I was about 6 years old that I think we've forgotten, which is, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names and words will never hurt me."
There we go.
That's been forgotten, hasn't it? Because now it's only...
Michael, darling, you're not allowed to sing that song anymore.
Oh, you're not. Sticks.
And get stones. Stones get offended.
And the funny thing is, I saw a comedian talk about this, and he goes, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." So you know what happened the next day? They came back with sticks and stones. They fucking hurt. Don't teach kids that nursery rhyme, because they're like, no. But well, I do understand what you're saying, Michael. Back then, people were a lot more resilient, I suppose. People weren't so offended by words. They weren't so... Well, I don't even know how to explain it, really. I mean, are we turning into a softer society? Are we becoming a bit more... And I don't even want to say pussies, because that's going to offend someone. Like, why are you referring to pussies? Like, as if it's like the weaker thing.
Pussies are a good thing. No.
Yeah. Okay. You're not pussy, but...
right?
Yeah, exactly, Liz. That's what I meant. I meant that.
No, let's not bring the cats into it, because there's a whole load of cats, that
cats will get upset about this.
Meowing.
Yeah, they will. But it's like, has it gone too far? Has it actually gone too far? And if it has, like, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Is it something that we have to just accept, roll over, and be like, right, we're not allowed to say this?
It's kind of oozing into the schools and the education now, isn't it? The whole political correctness. You're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that. We can't sing this nursery rhyme, we can't sing that one. We're not doing that anymore because somebody might get upset about it. We can't wear this.
Do you get upset that... do you get upset that Santa Claus is white? This is just a question to anyone out there.
In all honesty, I never really thought about it.
I don't get upset that Santa Claus is white. I've never really
even thought about it. Never
overthought it.
crossed my mind.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's funny that Jesus Christ is white, but I also think, you know, it is what it is. Like, he's called Jesus, his mates are Paul and John and that, and he's in Israel. But shout out to Amnesty, I literally read my mind. They just put on the comments, what about Jesus? But I never overthink if Santa Claus is white, and I don't care. But the reason why I say it was because I was watching something else the other day about someone that said I forget what the country is now, but it's a Nordic country, a white country, where Santa Claus is white and all of his helpers are black, and they've got their black faces because they're the ones that go down the chimneys and deliver the presents to the kids. Hence why they've got black faces, because they've been down the chimneys. Now, someone somewhere said, no, that's a white man with all his black slaves. Got a bit of feedback there, Michael. Just careful on that one. The mic.
Yeah, I had to my headset ran out.
Oh, mate. Well, you should have done your 7 Ps, isn't it? Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance, fam.
Well,
but no,
I think
it's sorted now. It's sorted now. But yeah, I don't ever get offended by that. I don't want to know if anybody else overthinks it or doesn't overthink it. Is that what it is? Are we overthinking it now?
We're definitely overthinking it. Like the fact that something that doesn't exist and it's made up doesn't offend me.
Mm-hmm.
But then people could just say, well, that's because you're white, so Santa's white as well, so he's on my side. So that's why I don't
ask you
care.
a question, Michael. Seriously, yeah. Like, as a white man, do you feel like you are probably the most political correct person? Because
No.
according to the world, no. But because
I'm the worst.
You're the worst.
Because I'm straight, white,
Yeah.
6 foot, male.
Yeah.
So I'm everything. So I literally cannot complain about anything.
Right. That's my point. Like that is Michael, you nailed it. That is Liz, you weren't here for this, but hear this one, yeah. I just asked Michael, do you feel like because he just highlighted like all of his characteristics, you are the most political correct person out there? You have to be. And Michael just said, from his perspective, because he's white, 6 foot, what else, Michael? What else did you say? Straight. He can't be wrong. Do you get what I mean? Like he is by the book. Your life's perfect. Yeah.
So I can't say anything about anybody else because I'm just a straight white male. So I'm not allowed to, like, when we talk about women's stuff, I'm not allowed to say that because I'm male. Like black people's struggles, I can't say anything about that because I'm white. When they do parades for gay rights, I can't say anything about that because I'm straight. So I can't say anything about anything because I'm none of them.
What are you then?
Well, he's winning, isn't it? Clearly, in this world. Because if you're
in this world I'm winning, I'm just not allowed opinions.
What category do you and I come into then, Jules? Who's losing here? Come on. Who's got the short
thing is,
straw?
this is the point I'm making. So back to at the start of the episode when I said, and if you're just tuning in now, guys, look forward to when this is released on the YouTube. You can rewatch it and watch previous episodes if you want to. So we have done previous episodes on some of these subjects. Like one of the best ones we've done was gender equality, where we talked about different athletes and how they can compete against non-genders and all that good stuff. If you like that, I'll put it in the link in the description anyway. But what Michael just said was really, really profound. He, according to society, shouldn't have anything to complain about. Because there's no one really fighting for you, Michael. No one. But everyone else has got something to fight about. They got something to complain about.
Because you're winning.
If you're a woman,
you're not.
Because I'm winning, I'm not allowed opinion.
But then, how is that fair and equal to you with free speech?
Exactly. Well, like I said, because when we spoke about like the Roe versus Wade, I'm male, so I can't talk about that. When we're talking about slavery and people getting the wrong raw deal because they're black, I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
when we talk about how hard it is to come out of the closet and like the struggles of being gay or bi, I can't say anything about that. And I'm 6 foot, so I'm about average. So
Yeah, you're not short, so you can't complain about short people being short.
yeah, and I'm not really that tall. I'm like 6 foot, so I can't complain about being tall either. I got blue eyes, hair.
Fucking hell, Michael, you're perfect. You are winning. What are you on about?
I think, Jules. I think we need to replace him because I think that we're not, you know,
It's
diverse
funny
enough.
because I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you another thing that's funny, right? Like something that really, really is surprising is how I once was dating this girl, and she said I had to explain to her how it felt for me in my arena of life sometimes when I'm like literally the only person of color around. So I would be doing my job and I'd be, get out my van and I'd start saying to everyone, "Hi guys, welcome, like how you all getting on," and all this and that. No one overthinks the fact that I'm the only black person there. No one. But I observe it, I see it, but I haven't like had to say nothing because it's not worth saying. Who else? Who am I going to say it to? Do you know what I'm saying? Then someone will say to me, "Oh, what's the black man nod?" I don't know. It's just acknowledgement. Like, I see my man there. You're black, I'm black. Like, wagwan. You know what I mean? It's just a nod. It's nothing. You could have a white man nod. You could have a flipping girl nodding to a girl. Whatever. Like girls in clubs or whatever. My point is, I said to her, "Would you not make an observation if I was to like put you in a room, like I'd introduce you into a room of people, and would you not observe the fact that you would be the only white person in the room? Would you acknowledge that you're the only white person in the room? Like you're in a room full of black people, I walk you in, would you not instantly notice that?" And she said, "Yeah, I probably would." And I said, "Right, so why is it that when I'm the only black person there, that you don't really, it's not really thought about, it's not really spoke about, it's just like a thing, right?" And I don't like the word minority. I think that's fucking bullshit. But it's one of those things where, yeah, unless you're in someone's position, I suppose you will never actually know. I don't know what it is to really relate with a feminist. I really can't. I don't understand. Like, Michael, you're right. That Roe versus Wade episode that we did a couple of weeks back, I'm glad Liz was here because Liz, you represented a lot of the female audience that watch us, whether on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, Facebook, YouTube, wherever they watch us. You spoke for a lot of the women. Whereas I could only speak for the guys. But when it comes to this political correctness, half of the people that are complaining about life, I really can't relate to.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. Do you know what I mean? So maybe they are upset. Maybe they are offended. Maybe it is. Maybe you have to like reflect a little bit at self.
I would like to sit down and really discuss it with some of these groups of
Snowflakes.
people that
the problem is though, you can't really chat to them because as soon as it's like flat earthers, as soon as you get any sort of sense coming out, they talk about like they get too emotional.
People, Michael. I love my flat.
They get too emotional about it.
You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong because it hits home a little bit. It hits hard. It hits hard.
But I think the only way we're really going to understand it is if you do sit down and listen to what they've got to say to try and form an understanding. But then if they're not making sense and then you try and show them that they're not making sense or you try and explain to them why you're not understanding it, that's when it all erupts. And it's like, the political correctness kicks in and you're in the wrong. And I just think that how do you move forward from that?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is when people are emotionally connected to stuff, they can't. It's hard to have a conversation about it. It's like I spoke to someone before about a police officer shooting a guy in front of his kid. Now, because he had a kid himself, he couldn't get past the fact that that child saw his dad get shot. Mm-hmm. But because I like going with that facts and I'm very black and white with that. It's just, and I don't mean race. I mean, like I look at exactly how it is. The guy was a danger. He had history of violence. He had a knife on him. He wasn't meant to be with that child, and the copper see him about to get in the car, so he shot him. He was about to kidnap his child. So he was, in actual fact, he was helping the kid, but because emotions get involved in it, it's like, no, but he shot him in front of his kid. It's like, but if he had driven off with the child, he might have got to the end of his rope and went, well, if I can't have him, I'll kill us both. But emotion took over, and I ended up having an argument about it because he couldn't see it from a fact point of view.
And that's very well said, Michael, because I know that we here at the Elite Thinking Club are all about exploring, and we're not trying to. A good debate will never get ugly. We said that. We always say that. We keep it.
And that's
leveled.
how it should be. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you're coming from a place of pain or a place of anger or a place where you're not ready to have the conversation, some people just ain't ready to have the conversation. In actual fact, there are some times when my fight isn't worth having with someone if they can't comprehend where I'm coming from. Like they simply cannot fathom what I'm saying. So I don't even bother fighting. I'm like, whatever, man. Like just whatever.
But that's
I've
what
even
I mean.
had people.
That's what's damaging though, Jules, because you should be able to get your point across and you should be able to speak up, because the more I've felt like that, and sometimes I've thought, you know what, I'm not even going to bring it. I'm just not. There's no point in it. But then I come away feeling like what I had to say was factual and informative. Not saying that what the others said wasn't, it was, but they weren't seeing all of the facts. You know, and it's just you come away feeling like, well, what's the you end up not wanting to converse with people, and I don't think that's healthy.
No, it's not healthy. But one of the things that the human mind tends to do is cherry pick information that suits their bias. Like I mentioned this in the previous episode, I forget which one it was, but if you want to go back and watch a few previous episodes, you're going to love them. Promise you that. Head over to the YouTube Elite Thinking Club. You can't miss us.
Some people just shut off from seeing it from a different point of view, though.
Your mind,
bias, and then it's like when somebody else comes with an alternative or with something that you haven't of that whole, content that you're talking about, it's like that then triggers them to then be offended and, oh no, you're just being this, or you get labeled as something, and it's just like, can we just have a conversation or a debate that doesn't get personal? Right.
But the thing is, though, a lot of this political correctness is personal.
Yeah.
Some people take it like it is personal because let's say, for example, like you're born a boy, but you really want to you identify as a girl because that's who you believe you are. You're a woman trapped in a boy's body or whatever. And it's really like if people cannot relate to that, because some people can't, some people just genuinely cannot.
They just don't understand it.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, so if you don't understand it, but then again, back to what you were saying, it is worth exploring. I would like to have a conversation with someone. You know what? I'm going to try my best to get a guest on the show, and we'll have that chat. Because we've done special guest chats, haven't we? We've had a few special guests talk about all sorts of stuff. I would love to get a trans person on this show. If anybody knows anyone who's trans and is prepared to have the conversation, and just to come on the show and tell us about themselves and, let us know how they are navigating through this world with that political correctness that we're talking about. Let them know. Bring them on the show. I'd love to welcome them. And 100%. Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, like, as soon as you start arguing with emotion, which everyone has, you kind of lose sight of what's actually happening. It's like the Carl Rittenhouse thing. When it happened, people found out about certain bits, like it was at a Black Lives Matter rally, it was a white guy, he shot some people. Emotions straight away kick off. So you kind of close yourself down to the actual facts of it. Like, even after it come out, the news was still saying that he shot black people. And people's emotions were running wild, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, it was definitely the tripwire minefield that as soon as you say something, you've triggered the bomb. You've triggered the explosive, like
Detonation.
what's that? Black Lives Matter rally. Yeah, but wait, let me finish. No, fuck that. I heard Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then people get triggered and they'll leap at it. And it's like, yo, I wish we had never said it. I wish we'd never fucking said it. Do you know what I mean? Because we can't now get to the fact that we're just talking about a kid that went on a mad one.
I remember having a conversation with somebody who actually didn't realise that the people that were shot weren't actually black. Because of the perception, the conditioning, the emotion, and and they were like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah," and that they were going all in, and then I was like, but you do realise they were white."
Yeah, the people he shot were white. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. That's where I was like, they came away from that debate they had with me about it a little bit more factual. I came away realising the power of the media on people. We've spoken about that before, and it's like, so we both learned something from that debate. It's shocking, and it's
For anyone like watching that's just tuning in to us, we are the Elite Thinking Club. We've done a two-part episode on Kyle Rittenhouse and how that all went down. So if you want to, just head over to the YouTube, type in Elite Thinking Club. You'll see us, me, Michael, and Liz. You'll see us right now, actually, all three of us, and on this live. And you can also then just like find the Kyle Rittenhouse episode and watch that. Let us know what you think on that, and just get a little bit more insight to that. Yeah. Shout outs to Nini as well in the comments there. I do see you, Nini. I see you, and she's like,
"Hello, Nini. Hello."
You know, shout out to Nini. She's been here from day. You know what I mean? Go on.
Shout out to Clive and Lone Arrow and Gracie on Insta.
I love that. Big up yourselves, guys. Like they've been following us.
Clive's on Insta, is he?
I hope you guys can hear these guys too, and not just see me sitting here.
Clive's probably muted it.
Thanks, Clive.
Yeah, but shout out to Clive, Nini, Gracie, all those followers from day one, like from when we first started. Them guys have been here for coming up to over, like, we're getting close to the year and a half, well over the year and a half.
Pretty much on the show. You're pretty much on the show, guys.
Yeah. I mean, Clive's been here almost as long as I have.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's a long
Michael's
runner.
first episode, we were talking about flat Earth. So head over to the YouTube, watch that episode. That's a brilliant episode.
I forgot about that. We did, didn't we?
Yeah. Michael joined the club talking about flat Earth, man. Fucking hell.
A while ago.
Great time. Yeah.
Let me see how long ago that was.
Last year. Clive, shout out, big up to yourself and Gracie and Lola and Nini and Nicola Creasy, one of my TikTok followers from day. Gotta give a shout out. Right. How do we move forward with this political correctness thing? Like, if I go to work, I'm very, very professional in how I speak to people. That's fair to say. But this whole political correctness thing is like, okay, so here's an example. We wear long sleeves at work in case tattoos offend people.
Seriously?
Come on, like, what's your like? By the way, wait. I need to also do a disclaimer here. I don't represent the people I work for on this chat. It's my chat. It's my thing. I'm not part of any association apart from Michael, Liz. We are the Elite Thinking Club. We're talking.
I mean, I get it. It's probably seen as kind of like, part of etiquette and, the attire and everything. There are places that want to promote and come across in a certain way, and I get that, like, they're running businesses and stuff, but in this day and age, this is what I mean. It's so, like, contradictory with this whole diverse and all of that. So it's like, so technically people who have tattoos could say, well, I'm offended that you're asking me to cover myself up or not wear short sleeves in my employment. That's against my employment rights. Like, there's so many.
And how far do you go? Like,
exactly,
people are offended by the weirdest things.
Yeah. So, like, remember when everyone had to shave in the army? It was a thing. You were clean shaven and you had short cut hair. So I didn't have my locks and I didn't have my beard. So the first thing I did when I got out of the army is I grew this fucking beard, and now I got locks. 100%. I was like,
Yeah, people wonder why I rarely shave, but that is why.
Yeah, man. Like, do it every fucking day. But at the same time, I suppose it is like you are employed by the Queen, and these are the Queen's regs. If you don't like it, you can get out. Have you seen that on where's that on South Park? Is it? You don't like it, you can get out.
I remember when I was at school, like my hair was really frizzy. And I remember at school, you know, when I was going do sports day, they were putting hats on us and making sure that we were like safe in the sun and stuff. And I remember my teacher saying, "Can you not do something with your hair?" Because it was just coming out of like it was just so frizzy, and I was like trying to scoop it back into a hair bubble, and I couldn't, you know, it was anyway. That's what you know, that's just frizzy hair. And if that was said to me now, can you imagine the backlash that teacher would have? Okay.
Yeah.
Like back then, I was just like, I can't, miss. It's just everywhere. It's like, you really need to sort your hair out, you know, do something with it. Like you can't be like that sort of thing. And
so wait a minute. Hearing what you're saying, Liz, isn't it a good thing then that people are now a little bit more correct politically?
But this is what I'm saying.
I don't even like the term politically.
No, but this is what I'm saying. So this is where, yes, it's good where we've moved forward with the equality and we're more aware of things that, you know, could make somebody feel like they're different or you know, the whole thing with black people's hair, there was a whole thing about it. Do you remember ago? And then it kind of did a U-turn, and it's like you should never say that to people and say that you know, their hair has to be changed for work or what have you, because you can't help what genetics, you know, you can't help your hair if it's big and out there. It just is. But that's my point. So we've moved along with it, so it's great. But then it's like gone to the point where if that was said now to me, if I were at school, there would be that person who said it. My teacher, I genuinely believe, was not being racist in what she was saying. She was just wanting, she was just basically in the moment saying, oh, we need to sort this out. Like, why is it like this? Why is it all that, you know? And as a kid, it just went over. It went over my head. I didn't stand there and think, oh, she's vilifying me for being mixed race. She's making me feel, you know, no, I lived with my hair every goddamn day. Every time when I got up, I was like, ooh. So I kind of got it, you know. I mean, I appreciate it now, but anyway. And so yeah, but now she would lose her job. She'd probably be up in court, you know.
Yeah, that's not cool. When you start putting people in places like that, like it's not cool. Like it's her livelihood at the end of the day.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to say, like, yes, it's good. We evolve as a species. Yes, it's good. Of course it is. And we evolve in the right way for humanity. And we are, you know, we see the diversity, we apply it where it needs to be applied, and it has a positive impact. But I don't believe that all of what's being put and fed now with this diversity, and you can't say and can say, and you mustn't look this way, you mustn't say this, you can't wear that color, you can't do that. It's like kids are going to be so messed up in like, whoa, what am I? Who do I want to be? What do I identify as? What do I want to eat? What can I eat? What can't I eat? What can I say? Shall I even bother breathing? Do you know what I mean? It's just we all
it's gonna get so mental.
And humans overcomplicate stuff. We overcomplicate.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? So back to what Michael said earlier this episode, right? And if you're just tuning in, guys, welcome to the Elite Thinking Club. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Michael mentioned earlier about his characteristics that simply make his, on paper or in this society, he shouldn't have anything to complain about. And this is what actually I've flipped on its head now, just thinking about what you just said, Liz, and then referring it back. People with differences, if you look at it with a positive perspective, like I do, I flipping own my differences. That's what makes me famous. Do you get what I mean? That's what makes me great. The fact that I am black, the fact that I am loud, the fact that I do have frizzy hair, the fact that like I am different. You know what I'm saying? And maybe acknowledging these differences empowers people,
Should
gives
be
them a sense
embraced
of.
and empowered completely.
So, has political correctness, just exploring here, actually saved us as a species, as a race? Like the fact that we are now acknowledging all these differences rather than
I
trying
think
to like create these cutouts of people.
I think it's intention. The intention of political correctness at the beginning of it was thought of positively. The outcome was to be a positive impact on society. I think now, like most things, humans have overcomplicated it and it's going too
Yeah.
far.
It's got out
To
of
the
hand.
point to where what its original goal and outcome, positive one, it's being literally dispersed and spread so thin that it's going to be a negative outcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so. Say a company, so it starts off with one person, and they have it how they want it, and then someone else takes over, and then they try and implement a little bit different, and then as you keep going, by the time you look at the end, it's nowhere near what it was at the start. So everybody wants to have their little piece, like add their little bit to it. So it gets so crazy by the end of it. So PC might have been good at the start, but then because everybody's emotions get involved,
Yeah.
it's just evolved to something that. So there is benefits to
It's
it,
dangerous.
yes, but now everyone's so scared to talk about anything.
Yeah. And we've
We're
got to
not-
weigh it up.
Yeah,
We've got to weigh it up. Right,
We've
this
got
is
to
one of
weigh
those
up whether
things.
sorry.
No, go on, Liz. Go finish.
Just got to weigh it up whether it's the impact of it now is better how than what they set out, or if it's actually going to have a more dangerous effect. And that's what it's like anything in life. We have to look at the risks and the benefits.
Right. We're going to take a break. And I'm just going to say that we will be back in about 15 minutes. Me, Michael, and Liz are going to go now off screen, have our little behind the scenes chat, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. So if you're watching us on the TikTok or the Instagram or the YouTube or the Twitch, we thank you. We love you. Thank you so much for that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be back in 15 minutes time. It's going to take a break. That is the end of this episode. So if you haven't done so already, definitely check out some of our previous episodes on things like gender equality, on things like Michael's first episode, which was the flat earth one. And, check them out. I'll put some of the links in the descriptions. And if you haven't done so already, head over to the YouTube where you get to see all three of us. We're all here. You can see us. And then see us there. Yeah. So we're going to be right back. Michael, Liz, is there anything else you want to add to this episode before we take a break?
yeah. Content. I think everything should. Anytime you go against something, remember the content of it. So if somebody says something that you don't like, remember what the context is. Because I say stuff all the time in a jokey way that if you just listen to it, you'd think that I was being out of order. But the context of the conversation is the key.
Yeah, I agree.
Like for example, quite a tanned a guy from Romania went back to Romania the other day. Now, when he come back, I made a joke and said, "Oh, you caught a tan." So that could have been taken by the wrong person as a racist remark. But because the context that we have, he knows I'm not racist. He knows I meant it as a joke. But if someone had heard me over my shoulder, would have said that was racist. But the context wasn't racist. So just remember context. Context is the key.
Well said, Michael. Yeah, definitely. Can't take things out of context. Yeah. Liz, got anything else you want to add to the episode before we take a break?
It doesn't need to be so serious. Life does not need to be so serious. And we all need to just take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
I love this woman. I do. I love you both. Actually, I love you both, of course. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Right. Well, we're gonna take a break. If you haven't done so already, put kettle on. You're gonna love this next episode. So get yourself comfy. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna be back at what's time now?
22.
10 to 10, 15 minutes. No, 10 minutes. Do your maths, Jules. All right, in 10 minutes. Right. Everyone everywhere, from me, Michael, and Liz. Thanks for watching. You know what to do, you know how to do it.